Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Thanks for joining. I hope this can be a place where we can discuss foreign affairs and international relations. We live in very interesting times right now. There is a lot of uncertainty all around the world, but we get to see everything that's happening and the shape of this new century that's kind of forming itself right in front of our eyes. And unlike in the previous eras, we get to see everything that's happening in real time and get the direct perspective of people involved in these events, from the ruling people all the way down to the common regular person in whichever country you're talking about, thanks to the power of the internet and the difficulty with censoring things. So today I wanted to talk about what's going on with China and the recent decision from the UK government to cancel or ban the Huawei tech products from their communication system. So let's get into it. In terms of background, China has been a leader in the 5G technology, which is the fifth generation of mobile communication technologies, for over a decade. They have actually done a lot of the hard work behind it, and for quite a while now, China has wanted to be at the forefront of technology and have a prominent place in the world. In the past, China has led the world in science and technology. They've made a lot of great scientific, technological, and also cultural advances, and they were the most prosperous and richest society and civilization in history for quite a long time. They then became complacent and then stagnated and were eventually assaulted by foreign countries in the 19th and 20th century, basically humiliated, carved up into pieces, bombed, all kinds of stuff happened to them. They don't want to go through this again, and their perspective is that they want respect in the world, they want respect for their great civilization and history, and never want to be in a position of weakness again as they were in the recent past. They are hard workers, they're determined, and focus well on a particular goal. Let's talk about Chinese stuff. So usually stuff made in China is generally claimed to be cheap, flimsy, low quality. However, in my own experience, goods coming out of China are actually of high quality and long lasting. Just take a look at your TV, even if it's like Samsung or Korean branded or Japanese, huge parts of it will be made in China. The whole thing might be finished in China. Your desktop monitor, your cell phone, even your clothes, these things that are made in China are usually well made and also well priced. The price part isn't just from a result of their cheap labor, which is somewhat true. They themselves have had to make a lot of innovations and advances in the systems of manufacturing by themselves, and that is what has led to the ever increasing quality and maintenance or relatively affordable price of the products that are made. So what's 5G got to do with it? 5G is essential for the future new products that are going to come out. It's not just about self-driving cars or better video streaming or having less buffering on your Netflix. 5G is really about other purposes as well, where super fast data transfer can be applied. So in communications, they're talking about stuff like holographic technology. In medicine, we can have live remote consultations. There can be instantaneous investigations or collaborations between specialists. And there's generally an economic multiplier effect from all of this. So China's been working hard for the past 10 plus years on developing all this stuff. Their tech grads have been pioneering and setting the standards for 5G. Their equipment, made by companies like Huawei, are usually good quality, work really well, and are well priced. Some may say that this is just because of the cheap labor cost, but actually Chinese software and electrical engineers and other professionals are actually paid pretty well and have a good quality of life, even when you compare to Western countries. So what is the problem right now? Totalitarian states such as China are not interested in individual liberties or freedoms. China is kind of unique though, because they have managed to create a high-tech tyranny that can produce great wealth and technical innovation without the free minds that we thought were a prerequisite for such advancements. This was thanks to vast job, wealth, and knowledge transfers from the West to China, and has been going on since the 1980s. At the forefront of this are the various Chinese tech companies. All these companies are controlled by the Chinese Communist Party or have some kind of connection with them or are subservient to them. No matter what the particular company or the Chinese party officials will say, they will have access to all our data if you are using their telecoms equipment. So not only are the Chinese companies required to pass the data to the Chinese government per Chinese law, but these Chinese companies and Chinese citizens working within them are fiercely patriotic. They are proud of their history, civilization, culture, and nation, whereas in the West, where we see other kind of things happening. So these people could even proactively pass data onto their government even before any request is actually made of them. And it's impossible to separate personal data streams, like whatever you're doing with your YouTube viewing, Facebook history, personal emails, and so on, from the data of governments, military, and security services within a particular country. So there's really no way to have this cop-out by saying, Huawei would be allowed into the peripheral network where the regular people's data is going to be flowing, while withholding access to them from the central or core part, which is the backbone and the most secured part where the serious data is stored and where the important stuff is transmitted. So even without 5G, it is possible to hack and access all this data. It's happened before, it's not a big surprise in that. But if you have these companies having a physical entry point to the data streams through their modems, routers, whatever else, then it makes illicit monitoring of the workings of entire nations that much easier. Other problematic aspects of the Chinese involvement in the telecom sector of Western countries stems from the totalitarian philosophy that I discussed just a second ago. China is currently trying to rearrange the structure of the internet itself from being an open, mostly uncontrolled, or at least difficult to control, global ocean in which data just floats around and flows from place to place, to a series of controlled, dammed, monitored canals, which can stem the flow of information detrimental to national governments, critical of particular points of view, conceal events and news, not just for the Chinese government, but for any and all governments around the world. That kind of power is very tempting to people who end up in positions of governance. They have even admitted to creating this, what's called like a shut-up switch, which can literally disconnect a particular household or even an individual from the internet or parts of the internet, or restrict their ability to say certain words or say certain phrases or something or stuff like that. So it's very, very granular control of access to information streams. In this setting, we had the UK decision. It was in this environment that the UK said on July 14th, 2020, that they would ban the use of Huawei technology in any of the UK's 5G network and ordered the removal of all existing Huawei equipment by 2027, which actually is quite a long time frame. Anyway, this will mean a delay in the rollout of the 5G network in the UK and will probably increase the costs of the whole thing as well. However, the UK felt that this was a price that was worth paying. Though this decision involves just one company, its significance is far greater. The UK literally cancelled China. And why is this important? Because it showed that a Western country was willing to cut itself off from both advanced technology and economic gains stemming from that technology. They're just withholding this, they're cutting themselves off and delaying the final implementation of it, but they think it's still worth it. This was all in order to reduce China's influence in the country, and therefore in the world. China's involvement in the UK didn't just stop at the telecom sector. They are currently still funding a major new nuclear power project as well, and have various other investments around the country. So we'll see how long or what happens there. Showing a successful project in a Western country, especially one as large and significant as the UK, was a certificate of competence and badge of honor for China and its increasingly totalitarian leader. If they'd been able to continue with the 5G rollout, could have led to more contracts and infiltration into other Western and also poor countries as well. For its part, China is now threatening sanctions and retaliation against the UK. Over in Australia, China's already threatened to withdraw students from Australian universities and imports of Australian wine and other goods. So we'll see what happens with how China is going to act out these threats against the UK. Other things like cyber attacks could also be a possible avenue for them, but it's all completely unpredictable right now. And just gonna have to wait and see what happens. Well, that's all I wanted to say right now. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Please give it a like if you like this or found it interesting or useful. Please leave a comment and just mention anything else you think I've missed out or something else to consider. And consider subscribing if you'd like to get more of this and get more of me kind of going through what's going on in the world and trying to make sense of current events and international relations. As I mentioned, it's a very interesting period that we've entered. Obviously, there are a lot of risks right now, a lot of problems going on, but there are definitely a lot of opportunities available as well, and it can be an interesting and exciting time. So thanks a lot again, and I'll see you in the next one.